Welcome to the Online Digital Marketing Podcast. We'll be discussing marketing strategies, trends, and tips that will help your business succeed in the digital age. Every episode, we'll be interviewing industry professionals and providing valuable insights on how to leverage digital tools for maximum engagement and ROI. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest trends in online marketing.
Right now, millions of businesses are letting an AI intern run their entire company without any supervision.
Oh, yeah, it's a disaster waiting to happen.
It really is. And they are about to pay a massive price for it. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a 2026 survival guide that we pulled from the Marketing Calendar podcast.
Yeah, and it paints a pretty stark picture, honestly, of what happens when you just, blindly hand the keys over to automation while completely ignoring the basic mechanics of how your customers actually find you.
Which is so common right now.
It is. It's a complete abdication of strategy.
Right.
So what we have on the table today is a definitive game plan for business marketing in 2026. The whole mission here is to take what is usually this paralyzing mountain of marketing tactics and transform it into a digestible, actionable playbook.
Something you can actually execute month by month, right?
Exactly, month by month.
Because, right now, most marketing calendars are basically just digital paperweights.
Yeah, they really are.
It's like, okay, every year, millions of us buy that shiny, incredibly optimistic New Year's gym membership, right? We imagine ourselves in peak physical condition, and then by week 3, that little plastic scan card is just a decorative item on our keychain.
A completely useless piece of plastic.
Right. It's full of good intentions, totally useless in practice, and cluttered with arbitrary goals. And businesses do the exact same thing with their marketing calendars. They fill them with completely useless dates like National Donut Day.
Which is just noise unless you actually, sell donuts.
Right, exactly.
Which is why this source material is structured so differently. It completely abandons those arbitrary dates and all that trending fluff to focus on the mechanical reality of the market.
The stuff that actually drives revenue.
Right. It explains the underlying logic, the what and the why of every single action. Because in a really unpredictable economic landscape, understanding the actual mechanics behind a strategy is what separates the businesses that thrive from the ones that just quietly disappear.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we even look at the month-by-month execution, the playbook lays out 4 massive macro trends for 2026.
The overarching rules of engagement, basically.
Exactly. And the first one is exactly what we were just talking about, AI. The data shows businesses are totally failing at it by falling into 2 extremes. They're either terrified and pretending it doesn't exist, or they're going full robot and letting it generate, publish, and just run everything.
And what's fascinating there is the identification of that second extreme as the really dangerous one. AI is a high-velocity tool, obviously, but it completely lacks strategic nuance. It has zero human empathy.
Right. It doesn't know why it's doing something.
Exactly. The sweet spot is using AI strictly for the heavy lifting, the grunt work, generating 50 ad copy variations or analyzing massive data sets of leads to spot patterns or just formatting content.
But the human has to stay in charge.
Yes. The critical element is that the human brain must remain firmly in charge of the final output and the strategic direction.
It's exactly like that intern analogy. Relying on AI for everything right now is like making a college intern the CEO on their very first day.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Right. You want that intern to do the deep research, compile the spreadsheets, maybe draft the initial email, but you absolutely cannot let them make the final executive decisions for the company. They just don't have the context.
And that lack of context is deadly, especially when you look at the second macro trend, which is the evolution of SEO.
Oh, this is a huge one.
It is. The era of keyword stuffing is entirely dead. The landscape is now dominated by AI overviews directly on the search engine results page.
Right, where the AI just reads the internet and summarizes the answer right there at the top of the screen. So the user never even has to click a link to visit a website.
Exactly. It's a zero-click environment for basic information. Platforms like ChatGPT are actively diverting traffic away from standard search engines altogether.
So how do you even survive that?
Well, you can no longer just optimize for Google's traditional crawler. You have to optimize for AI synthesis. And the mechanism to do that is creating unreplicable content.
Wait, what does that actually look like in practice? Because if an AI can scrape everything on the internet, what is actually unreplicable?
First-hand experience, original research, deep, localized human insights.
Okay, give me an example.
Like if you're a plumber, an AI can easily write a generic article about how to fix a leaky faucet. But what the AI cannot do is take a photo of the specific type of corroded pipe that's common in your city's historical district and then explain exactly how your team works around the local building codes to replace it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Right. You have to create content that relies on physical reality and lived experience and then distribute it everywhere.
Because relying on a single source of traffic is just a massive vulnerability, which hits right on the third and fourth macro trends from the playbook, the economic crunch, and channel diversification.
Yeah, these go hand in hand.
They really do. Because when margins get thin, the knee-jerk reaction for most business owners is to panic and instantly slash their marketing budget to save cash.
Which is the most common and, frankly, the most fatal instinct.
It really is.
When you cut marketing during an economic tightening, you are literally cutting off the oxygen to your revenue stream. The mechanics of a recession actually favor the bold.
Because everyone else is backing out, right?
Exactly. When your competitors slash their ad spend, the cost of advertising often drops, and your share of voice inherently increases. The strategy here is to audit your software subscriptions, aggressively negotiate your supplier rates, trim the operational fat, but keep the marketing engine fully funded.
And keep it diversified, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you build your entire customer acquisition strategy on rented land, let's say, relying 100% on Facebook ads, you are entirely at the mercy of their algorithm.
Oh, completely.
One back-end update from a tech giant and your flagship digital storefront is essentially bulldozed overnight.
Yeah, so looking at these four trends together, leveraging AI for the grunt work, creating unreplicable content, maintaining your spend during a crunch, and diversifying channels, they highlight a major shift.
Adaptability.
Yes. Survival in 2026 requires intense adaptability. The tools are automated, but the vision has to remain strictly human.
All right, so those are the rules of the game. Let's actually start playing. We are breaking this down into the first half of the year, but rather than just reading a calendar, let's group this by strategy.
Good idea.
The entire goal for the first 6 months, January through June, is building a rock-solid foundation. It's about fixing your digital plumbing so that when people do find you, you aren't leaking money.
It's a perfect framework because you can't just run ads if your digital storefront is broken.
Exactly.
Before spending capital on massive visibility campaigns, you have to look at what happens when a customer actually lands on your digital properties.
So let's look at February and March. The foundational stat here in the source is staggering. 93% of online experiences start with a search engine.
93%, that's huge.
It is. So while everyone else is distracted early in the year, this is the time to do the digital plumbing, like fixing broken 404 links on your website. And it isn't just about user experience. Those dead links actively kill your search rankings because they signal to the algorithm that your site is unmaintained.
Right. It signals decay. And that moves directly into website health for March. The playbook highlights some mandatory operational checks, like mobile responsiveness is paramount, but it must actually work on a phone.
Right. Not just load, but function.
Exactly. Not just technically load on a small screen, but be navigable with a human thumb. Secondly, contact information must be immediately visible. And third, you have to rigorously test your contact forms.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Is testing website contact forms really a strategic priority? It sounds so mundane.
It does, but you have to think about the cascading effect.
Right. It's like a broken contact form is like having this beautifully designed physical storefront with a glowing neon come in sign in the window, but the front door is deadbolted shut.
That's exactly what it is.
The customer is right there, credit card in hand, trying to give you their money, and you are physically blocking them. It's a completely unforced error.
And the algorithmic penalty for that unforced error is severe. When a user tries to contact you, fails, and immediately bounces back to the search results, the search engine logs that interaction as a failure.
Oh, wow. So it hurts your SEO, too.
Oh, absolutely. You aren't just losing that one customer. You're actively telling the algorithm to rank you lower next time.
That is wild. Which brings us to the trust factor in April online listings. The playbook says 68% of people will completely abandon a business if they find incorrect information online. Wait, does one wrong digit in a phone number or a slightly off address really cause almost 70% of people to just walk away?
It absolutely does. because it breaks trust before the transaction even begins.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If your Google business profile says you are open on a Tuesday and a customer drives across town and only to find you closed, you have wasted their most valuable asset, their time.
Yeah, they're never coming back.
Never. Furthermore, NAP consistency, that's name, address, phone number, across the internet, is a primary signal for local search algorithms. If Yelp says one thing and Google says another, the algorithm loses confidence in your validity and drops your ranking.
So the mandate is clear. Claim all your digital listings, ensure total consistency, and respond to all reviews, especially the bad ones.
Yes, the bad ones are crucial.
Because responding to a bad review isn't actually for the person who left it. Right, I mean, they are already angry. You are responding for the hundreds of prospective customers who are going to read it next week to see how your business handles conflict and takes accountability.
Precisely.
Yep.
And once that plumbing is fixed and the trust signals are established, then you can safely pour traffic into the system. This is where January's focus on local PPC pay-per-click ads becomes highly effective.
Right, because the data shows 75% of searchers actually say these top-of-page ads make finding things easier.
Because of the high intent. When someone searches for an emergency plumber or a local accountant, they usually need that service immediately. They aren't just browsing for fun.
Right, their pipe just burst.
Exactly. So PPC allows you to bypass the organic SEO crawl and put your fully optimized, trust-verified business right at the top of that high-intent search.
And then you add in social media discovery in May, keeping in mind that 60% of Instagram users discover new businesses on that platform, and you have a massive influx of top-of-funnel traffic.
Exactly.
But that brings us to June, and this is where I really need to push back. The focus for June is retargeting, showing ads to people who visited your website but left without buying. Isn't that just deeply creepy?
I can feel that way, yeah.
Right. Like you look at a pair of shoes once and suddenly those exact shoes are stalking you across every blog and news site you visit for the next month.
It certainly feels intrusive when executed poorly, usually through excessive frequency capping, where the ad is shown like 50 times a day. However, the underlying mechanism is undeniable. People who are shown properly paced retargeted ads are 70% more likely to actually convert and make a purchase.
70%. Wow. Okay, if I reframe it, the logic holds up. It's not like a salesperson silently stalking a stranger around a mall. It's like running out into the parking lot after a customer who accidentally left their wallet on your counter.
That's a great analogy.
They were already in your store. They already showed distinct interest. You're just helpfully tapping them on the shoulder to remind them they forgot to finish what they started.
That is the exact psychological mechanism at play. It is a helpful reminder in a highly distracted digital world. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the entire back half of this playbook, July through December, is about taking that newly established baseline and ruthlessly removing friction for the customer.
Turning them from browsers to buyers.
Entirely. It is all about capturing attention and turning casual, retargeted browsers into loyal, paying buyers.
Okay, so let's look at July. We're talking about scaling through Facebook ads. The source points out that the average user clicks on 11 ads a month, and the goal is to be one of those clicks.
Right.
The primary tactic here is testing lookalike audiences. How does that actually work under the hood?
It is algorithmic mapping. You take a list of your absolute best, highest paying current customers, and you upload that data to the platform.
Okay.
The algorithm then analyzes thousands of data points on those specific individuals, what pages they like, their purchasing behavior, their demographics, and it finds the 1% of the broader population that most closely matches that exact psychological and behavioral profile.
Oh, wow. So you are essentially cloning your best buyers.
You are.
That is wild and incredibly efficient. Moving into August, the strategy introduces live chat. The directive is to put live chat on your website because 63% of people are more likely to buy from a site that has it.
Which is a huge conversion bump.
But hold on. Adding live chat sounds great in a boardroom, but don't most consumers absolutely hate talking to glitchy, unhelpful bots that just send you in circles? How does a business prevent this from completely backfiring?
Well, backfires when businesses use bots to deflect customers rather than assist them. The successful mechanism here involves highly constrained decision trees.
What does that mean?
It means the bot shouldn't pretend to be human. It should offer specific clickable options like track an order, book an appointment, or speak to a human. And if it cannot resolve the issue in 2 steps, it must seamlessly route to a human inbox or a live agent.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. When implemented correctly, it satisfies the modern consumer's demand for immediate answers at, like, 11 p.m., capturing a sale that would have otherwise bounced to a competitor who was entirely offline.
Because immediate resolution removes friction, which ties perfectly into September's focus video. 72% of customers prefer watching a video over reading text. And the barrier to entry here is zero, right? You do not need a Hollywood studio or massive lighting rigs.
Not at all. The playbook emphasizes that perfection is the enemy of progress here. The camera in a standard smartphone is more than capable of shooting quick, authentic behind-the-scenes tours or doing live streams to answer common customer questions.
People actually prefer that, don't they?
They do. Highly polished, overproduced corporate videos often perform much worse organically because they feel like traditional commercials. Raw, authentic video builds parasocial trust.
You just hit record and show them how the sausage is made.
Exactly.
Now, October. Reviews. 93% of people are influenced by online reviews. It is the digital equivalent of word of mouth. But the catch is, you have to actively ask your happy customers to leave them.
Because human psychology dictates that a serious customer will instinctively hunt down a review page to complain and seek vengeance.
Oh, for sure.
But an absolutely thrilled customer will just smile, use your product, and go on with their day. They will happily leave a 5-star review, but only if you prompt them in the moment of highest satisfaction.
So how do you actually operationalize that ask without annoying them?
You build it directly into the fulfillment mechanism. Like if you run a restaurant, it's a QR code right on the final receipt that says, "Loved your meal, let us know."
Oh, smart.
Right. Or if you are an e-commerce brand, it is an automated email triggered exactly 48 hours after the delivery confirmation asking for a photo of the product in use. You just remove the friction of them having to remember to do it.
Make it effortless. Okay, heading into the final stretch, November focuses on email marketing. The source notes that winter email campaigns actually outperform every other season, and 73% of millennials say they actively prefer businesses communicating with them via email.
But the strategy relies entirely on precision segmentation.
Right. You cannot just blast your entire list with the same generic newsletter.
No, segmentation means dividing your audience based on behavior. The people who bought from you last week should absolutely not receive the same email as the people who haven't opened a message in 6 months.
Makes total sense.
Furthermore, the psychology of the inbox requires killer subject lines to drive the open rate and incredibly concise body copy. No one is reading a novel in their inbox while standing in line for coffee.
Keep it short and punchy. And finally, December. The culmination of the entire year lead management. Honestly, this statistic actually made me pause. 53% of marketers spend over half of their entire budget on lead generation. Wait, half the budget. Just to get the email address or the initial phone call.
It is a staggering financial investment.
Yeah.
The cost of acquiring a new customer is exponentially higher than retaining an old one.
Wow.
And December is the month where businesses historically take their foot off the gas, and those expensively acquired leads simply slip through the cracks.
It's a tragedy. I mean, you spend all year and all this money building the plumbing, running the lookalike ads, getting the reviews, just to drop the ball at the finish line. So you have to get a centralized CRM system in place. You build out email nurturing campaigns so your brand stays top of mind even when they aren't ready to buy today. And you meticulously track which channels actually generated revenue all year so you know exactly where to allocate capital when 2027 rolls around.
You are securing the return on the investment you've been compounding since January.
So smart.
Now, layered over this entire 12-month framework is one final, consistent strategy that applies year-round content constraints and discovery via hashtags.
Let's talk about that. Do hashtags really still matter in 2026, or are they just, digital clutter that makes an Instagram post look desperate?
Oh, they absolutely still matter, but not in the way people used them in 2015. You aren't just throwing a wall of text at the bottom of a post to see what sticks.
Right. No one wants to see 30 random tags.
Exactly. Hashtags now function as categorization data for the platform's machine learning algorithm. They tell the AI exactly who should see your content.
The playbook breaks it down by day, actually. Motivation Monday, Talker Tuesday, Wednesday Wisdom, Throwback Thursday, Friday, Feeling. At first glance, this just sounds like a generic grocery list for a social media manager.
That does sound a bit cliche.
Yeah. But when you look closer, it's actually an algorithmic framework, right?
Precisely. It solves two massive problems. First, it feeds the algorithm a consistent, predictable stream of categorized data, allowing the platform to map your business to specific audience interests over time.
Okay, and the second?
Second, and perhaps more importantly, it eliminates decision fatigue and creator block for the business owner.
Because having a blank canvas every single day is terrifying. But if you know that every Thursday is a throwback post detailing the history of your business, you have a defined constraint. It makes execution possible.
This raises an important question, though. We have just outlined 12 months of dense, multifaceted strategies, from digital plumbing and lookalike modeling to algorithmic content rotation.
Right.
How does a busy listener actually implement this without immediately burning out and abandoning the calendar by week 3?
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway from the whole playbook, the golden rule of pacing.
This is crucial.
The golden rule is, do not try to do everything at once. If you sit down today and try to fix your 404 links, launch a Facebook ad campaign, start shooting behind-the-scenes video, and write a segmented email sequence, you are going to freeze.
Yep.
Trying to do it all results in doing absolutely nothing.
The prescription is methodical, sequential execution. Pick exactly one thing from the January strategy. Claim your local listings, complete it, verify it, and then, only when that foundation is stable, move on to the next tactic.
Building momentum slowly.
Yes, you are building momentum slowly, ensuring each new layer rests on a solid, functional base.
It's brilliant in its simplicity. I mean, marketing in 2026 is clearly not about grinding harder or chasing every single shiny new object on the internet. It is about executing a smart, sequential, and deeply human-guided plan.
A plan that leverages automation to scale the grunt work, but relies entirely on human empathy to actually connect and convert.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means this deep dive is only valuable if you take that first tiny step today. Look at your own digital footprint. Pick one thing. Fix that one dead-bolted digital door on your homepage and just get the momentum started.
And I will leave you with this final thought to consider. If this playbook is adopted perfectly across the board, if every single business utilizes AI for flawless copy, optimizes their local algorithms perfectly, installs frictionless live chat, and runs hyper-efficient lookalike ads, the internet of 2026 is going to become incredibly polished.
Almost overwhelmingly pristine and identical.
Exactly. So in a landscape where every competitor is executing a perfectly structured AI-assisted strategy, how will you ensure your business's true, slightly messy, uniquely human authenticity doesn't get completely scrubbed out by the algorithm?
Man, that is the million-dollar question. Don't let your marketing strategy turn into a digital paperweight, guys. Pick your one small task and get to work. Thanks for exploring this deep dive with us. Keep questioning and keep learning.
Ready to take your online business to the next level? Subscribe to our digital marketing podcast and then join our Accountability for Success Mastermind. With expert advice from industry leaders, you'll gain knowledge and insights that will help you succeed in today's digital marketing world. From social media strategies to search engine optimization, we have all the tools you need. Learn from successful entrepreneurs and take control of your online success. Join the Accountability for Success Mastermind now at bit.ly/AFSM podcast.